This week at the Net Cafe, the X-Treme web. Do you want a super fast web connection? Try the at-home service through your cable company. It could be 100 times faster than your modem. Meet Kim Johnson and the Phone Cam, a new low-cost way to put a webcam anywhere so you can be in two places at once. This is the NASA website where you can travel to Mars or anywhere else in the galaxy where NASA has a mission. Meet Brian Rudy. He wears his computer on his body so he can surf the web while walking down the street. And in times of disaster, earthquakes, fires, or floods, this is the website for emergency information run by the U.S. Geological Survey. The X-Treme web, this week at the Net Cafe.
The Net Cafe is made possible in part by TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news. And by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.
Hi, and welcome to the Net Cafe. We're here again at the Club Eye on Folsom Street in San Francisco, and we're talking about the X-Treme web, really far out things that you can do on the internet. And we're going to start with speed. How would you like to surf the web 100 times faster than you can do right now with your telephone modem? Hello, cable modems. Rebecca has the story of At Home.
Richard Gingras, you are the VP of Programming for At Home, which is a company that I really like, and I'd like even more if I could get the service, and what the service offers is internet connection through cable pipes.
Well, first of all, what we do is take the cable connection that many of us already have, bring that over to your personal computer, connect it with a cable modem such that you can have access to the internet over the high-speed lines of a cable network. Speeds are roughly up to 100 times faster than what you would typically see with a 28.8 telephone-based connection.
And the price is?
About $40 a month.
Where can people get at-home service?
Well, we're available in about 60 cities across North America today, and are working fast with the cable companies to upgrade their facilities to make it available in many, many more cities over the next few years. For specific information on where we're available, you can log on to our website at www.home.net, and we'll have all the cities where available. In fact, you can say, I want it home, and when it does become available, we'll let you know.
Now, I live in San Francisco, and you all are located in Silicon Valley, right? And I can't get it yet. And a lot of people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, a lot of cities don't have it yet. When can they look to having it?
Well, it varies depending on the city, on the cable company, and so on. But we are rolling out new cities every week. So we're as anxious as you are to make it available to you.
Yeah, and the reason I'm anxious is because I hate the slow-to-load problem, waiting for a website to download. But I know that you all, or from what I understand, you all go beyond solving that problem to actually adding additional content because you have all the space. What do you offer?
That's right. Beyond the fast access and also the fact that the network is always on, you don't have to log into anything. We also, because we have that speed, can offer you content that you simply wouldn't be able to access reasonably off the net itself. So you come into our news area, for instance, you can get on-demand access not only to textual news stories and large resolution photographs, but to videos of those stories as well. You can access movie trailers for all the movies that are out in the marketplace today. For instance, last Thursday, we had the Star Wars trailer available to our subscribers, so any of them could look at that Star Wars trailer when they wanted to, and as many times as they wanted to.
And how do you organize your content on the site?
Well, we organize it in a way to make it as easy as possible for folks to take advantage of what all the net has to offer. And also to really present to them the information in a way that's very, very easy for them to consume. Very much what we're trying to do is really lay out to folks what we feel the internet medium can be as these high-speed networks become available.
In a more simplified form for the beginner user, kind of like AOL?
Yeah, I would say in a form that is simple and powerful for all users. But certainly, as we see more and more people coming online, we're particularly sensitive to those who are less sophisticated and really don't quite know all that they would like to know about getting around the net.
Right, and in that way you're bringing the power of television to computers. And you also are bringing the power of computers to the television too, right?
Right. We're also beginning to work on technology to bring the internet to the television set, and in fact later this year we'll begin to offer these set-top boxes which allow you to access the internet over the television set and really begin to explore how is the television medium going to change over the next several years as it too begins to take advantage of interactive capabilities.
It must be exciting to be part of one of the many companies driving, or few companies driving, convergence of all the media.
Webcams have been one kind of far-out extension of the internet. You can look at live pictures of strange people, but now there's a new angle on the webcam, one that doesn't require a PC. You can put it anywhere. Andrew has the story of PhoneCam.
Kim, you're from PhoneCam, and PhoneCam is really a new kind of webcam that's been becoming very popular recently. Why are webcams so popular?
Well, I think it's something that really draws people back to web pages. You can go to a page, you can look at it, get all the text information, get what's up to date, look at the pictures. But live digital imagery is what brings people back to a site over and over and over. It's immediate, it's what's going on now, and it's very interesting.
And I think also there is a little bit of a voyeuristic aspect. I think people like to take a look in other people's lives and get a sense of that. And
that's true.
So phone cams, as you've got one right here, seem to be really a new marriage of technologies. Tell me what's different about a phone cam than a traditional webcam.
We looked at the way a lot of webcams are being implemented, and we said, for the high end, that's okay, but the camera, if it's got a lot of IP stuff on board and network connectivity, you're going to have to bring your network support people along with it. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Or if it's one
Who
of the
has network support people hanging around?
Cisco, maybe. Or if you've got a tethered camera, then the camera has to bring its computer along with it, which is also not cost effective. With PhoneCam, anywhere you've got phone service, you can have a remote digital camera.
So you've married a camera basically with a modem, and it's very portable. Right. So now, what are some of the ways that people are using phone cams right now that are maybe unique and interesting?
Well, probably a lot of the ways that people are using them that are the most fun to us are the promotional areas and what we like to call fantasy cameras.
I like that, fantasy cameras. Let's hear about those.
Well, our controller tells us he's off now putting in one in Fiji. Just has to know what the surf conditions are like.
Okay, so people can check in from remote areas and see what's going on in their favorite vacation spot.
Right. You can use PhoneCam. It's got a client software. You can dial it up, look at the camera yourself. There are free phone cams that are basically public cameras. Anybody can dial into those and get pictures. You can do that automatically.
So would that be like someone at work would have a phone cam and you could dial in and see what they're doing in their office, those type of things?
You can do that for you, and then you can make that camera public or semi-public. And then also, it's very easy to have a phone cam and then have it posting images to web pages.
Okay, now how about security? This sounds like a great, is there any way you can sort of remotely trigger a camera?
Absolutely. We've built this to be compatible with off-the-shelf security devices like glass break and motion detect.
Oh, okay.
Any of those go off, phone cam wakes up, takes a picture, and sends it to the PC or PCs that you've designated.
Okay, so how hard is it to actually set one of these things up?
Well, it's real simple. It just goes out, it plugs into a standard phone line, RJ11 jack and power, and that's it.
So no bringing the computer, nothing, just plug it in.
Real easy to install. And then when you're done with that project, real easy to move in and move down to the next project.
Okay, now I hear for the future you guys are doing a little upgrading and going to make this thing a little more rugged, a little more portable. What's that going to be like?
Well, we'd like to see it completely fully cellular and satellite and every kind of phone compatible. We'd like to see it long-term battery powered, real small, very portable, and very inexpensive.
Okay, so by satellite you mean you can basically set this up in the Amazon jungle, or you know, they're doing something like recently at stoplights here.
And leave it and have it be your eye on the world, All
right, well, it sounds like a great technology, and we'll check it out on the web. Thanks.
Good.
Okay, this internet stuff is very cool, but you need one of those big computers and a big monitor, and you've got to sit it on a desktop. No, you don't. The guy next to me proves that. This is Brian Rudy, and he is wearing his computer. Why don't you turn around a little bit, make sure everybody sees all that junk that's on you. Now, let's talk about, first of all, what all the elements are, because you've got, I mean, you are walking, you've got two computers on, in fact, right? It's easy to understand you got the CPU on your belt. We'll get to that in a second. How do you do the output? You're looking at a VGA monitor right now, and that piece on your head.
This is a black and white VGA monitor, and basically over your eyes, so your brain needs to get used to.
But you can see it just as well as if you were looking at a desktop CRT.
That's correct.
All right, now turn around and I want to show everybody the camera. You have a camera on here too, so that you can actually send back to somebody wirelessly a picture you're looking at?
That's right.
Or a live scene you're looking at.
Live scene.
And why would you want to do that?
A lot of different applications. Somebody was looking over your shoulder if you were working on something, say a maintenance application.
Say, hey Joe, look at the crack in this pipe, what do you think? And the guy back is looking at the same thing you're looking at.
And they could tell you if they knew, if they had dealt with the problem before, they could tell you what to do.
All right, the mouthpiece, is that for speech input into your computer?
It's both for video conferencing and as well as speech recognition, so you can be able to do key sequence inputs or macros or such.
Okay, suppose you can't do voice input. Let's get down to what you've got in your hands now and start over here. This is your keyboard and your mouse, huh?
That's right.
How's that work?
It's a cording keyboard. It has both a mouse and a keyboard, basically combination of keys.
You can sort of learn to touch type in that thing.
That's correct. Also, it's got a tilt mouse, so you can have both in one hand, which is really handy. And it takes a little bit of getting used to. You can type up to about 40 words a minute.
Wow.
And,
okay, so that's your input device. Now I want you to just turn around a little bit so everybody can see all this junk you have on you. This is the CPU basically, right?
That's correct.
Storage in here too? You got a hard drive in there?
Hard drive, PCMCA.
The whole bit?
Memory, everything.
Okay, turn around a little bit more and let's show everybody this gadget, which is running your VGA monitor on your headset, correct?
That's right. It's part of the monitor.
And then maybe come around the other way. We'll just see we got the batteries on here. That's what's running everything.
Right. Got to have batteries.
All right, so your input, your output, you got the CPU, you got the source. How are you interconnecting to the internet? You've got some sort of wireless LAN device on here?
That's correct. You got a wireless LAN card.
You got a PC card slot.
A lot of other options for wireless too. You got the Ricochet wireless product.
So yeah, here's that Ricochet for people who don't know what this thing is. Let's turn the right side up. Obviously, people just tack this onto a laptop, but you can stick this in your pocket.
That's right.
And be just surfing the web, walking down the street like that.
That's right.
Now, let's talk about what you have on your left hand. That is really something. Just move it out here a little bit so we can see. That's the whole thing is a computer, right?
That's right.
That's the whole ball game.
This is a full product, all components.
And not only that, you've got what here?
This is a barcode scanner. So if you were to walk up and have an application like warehousing, dealing with a lot of inventory and barcodes, walk up, scan something, and you're done.
In the computer, take the keyboard if you want. Again, you got a wireless LAN connection coming out of that thing at the same time.
Wireless LAN in this as well, so you don't need any other support.
Now, one thing you brought, I just happened to, it's so small I can put it in my pocket. This is amazing. This is what, Brian?
That is a credit card size Pentium motherboard. That's the guts.
That's a 200 megahertz Pentium PC, right?
That's correct.
So that's why all this stuff is possible.
Right.
Tiny, tiny, tiny.
Extremely tiny.
Now, I got to ask you a couple practical questions. What's the point? I mean, it's kind of a joke. I mean, you got a million wires coming out of you. I know it's a prototype, but why would anybody want to do this?
There's a lot of different applications, maintenance being a big one. You've got application, you can reference all your documentation, have it all with you, have it on the network somewhere.
You guys you're at the Tech Museum, you're an engineer there, so you see actually walking around being able to analyze problems, access your mainframe database for information no matter where you are.
That's right. I'll detect problems, we can monitor our online monitoring system, all through this device, and be able to walk up to the exhibit, already know what the problem is, and fix it.
You see a couple years down the line, I'm going to be wearing a neat little version of this thing, walking down the street, hands in my pocket, looking up ahead, and I'm surfing the web?
That's right. That's just all part of the ubiquitous computing movement. Be able to use your computer almost anywhere.
That's for real?
That's right.
All right, you have a website with a lot of this information. Tell us what's on the website.
A lot of information on research institutions, hardware vendors, links to other sites, a lot of wearable community sites. Basically get you started, be able to build your own.
And if guys go to the Tech Museum in San Jose, they're going to see you and these other engineers walking around just like that.
That's right. The maintenance engineers will be able to go through the exhibits and have one of these on at the time.
Brian, thank you very much.
Welcome.
The web is great when it lets you communicate with people all around the world. But what about people out of this world or places out of this world? Well, thanks to NASA, we can now communicate with places like Mars. Rebecca has the latest at nasa.gov.
Hi, Dr. Bill Fire-Eisen, a name I like. You are in charge of computing at the Ames NASA Center.
Yes.
And I was clicking through your website, the NASA website, and what I discovered is that NASA's website seems to be almost as vast as the universe itself. So many different things can be found on that site. Tell me, what are the most popular?
Well, there's actually many NASA websites. But there's one central place that you could go, and that starts out with NASA headquarters, and it will go to all of the NASA websites. And material from each one of those websites for each of the centers involves aeronautics, it involves space flight, it involves astronomy, it involves earth sciences, and you can pretty much take your pick.
Now I know that the site has taken you to, or taken me when I actually visited, to Mars with the actual NASA trip to Mars, right? And you can still access pictures of Mars on the site?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, back in the summer of 1997 with Mars Pathfinder, that was a very, very active website that put up pictures of Mars actually as they came in, and there were people from all across the world who flocked to that site to see the brand new pictures of Mars.
That's pretty cool. I was one of those people, and from what I understand, it was one of the seminal web events in terms of traffic, and really it's almost what the web is for, you know, take you far away. I also understand you could see the space shuttle, what's going on there.
Yes, you can. You can get information about the space shuttle. You can get information about each one of the launches as they come up. You can see pictures. You can get information about the crew.
And what's this thing that's coming up called the Earth Observatory?
Well, it's the Earth Observing System. And it's a very large project whereby NASA is going to put satellites up that watch back toward the Earth, and it will gather information about land usage, for instance, agricultural usage. There will be websites that will be available in the future such that individual people can come in and take a look at their land and see what sort of ground cover they've got. Or they'll be able to look for water usage, or they'll be able to see what kinds of things are done in terms of managing land.
So who would that be good for? Farmers?
That would be good for farmers. In fact, one of the things that has happened in the past is that information like this has actually been used to track the spread of various pests that have attacked the vineyards in the wine country here in California.
Huh. And what I like about those types of things is that you could see the Earth from so far away. How close up will you actually be able to see the Earth from the Earth Observatory?
Well, it will still be rather coarse resolution. In other words, you're not going to be able to look down and see somebody's license plate. But you will be able to see things that are of the size of buildings, let's say. Things that are the size of license plates belong to other parts of the U.S. government, if you know what I mean.
Where else might NASA and the corresponding website take us in the future? We've been to Mars. What's next?
Well, there is a great deal of information that's being gathered now for astronomy purposes. There are pictures and information that come from stars and galaxies, and they're available on many of the websites. There are quite a number of large observatories which are in orbit right now and on the ground, and they put information onto various websites also. So pretty much you can cruise the galaxy.
Well, is it going to go to a farther planet than Mars, or maybe Venus?
Well,
closer?
Yeah. In fact, one of the things that I think will be happening, it has been talked about in something called the interplanetary internet, is the idea that spacecraft, as we send them out in the future, will actually become nodes upon the internet, and you will actually be able to visit spacecraft and perhaps look at the scientific information that they gather.
It's amazing. And this way, then, NASA, which is this expensive government program for well-trained astronauts, will then be able to be taken down to Earth for the ordinary web surfer.
Definitely.
That it could be anyone could log on to Mars in the future.
Definitely. That's one of the things that we're targeting.
And maybe spot a Martian.
The web can be fun and practical and entertaining and useful, but sometimes under extreme natural conditions, the web can be a very important tool that can make the difference between life and death. Andrew has that story.
Jim, you're with the U.S. Geological Survey, and I'm going to call you guys the disaster guys when it comes to earthquakes, floods, a lot of other natural volcanoes. You guys are sort of the authority on that. What is the U.S. Geological Survey bringing to the scientific picture of natural disasters?
Actually, we do scientific research for just about anyone who wants it.
Okay.
In specifically the fields of geological disasters and floods, earthquakes, biological.
Okay. And what's the goal of this research? Is it just to find out more information, or actually to maybe stop some of these things from happening?
The primary goal is pure science. And the people that hire the survey do so primarily because the survey is known for very high objectivity with no stated purpose.
And now the web comes along, and you guys have a very active presence on the web. How are you using the web, or why are you using the web as a way to bring your science to the masses?
The web gives us a chance to bring information in real time that before would take forever. For instance, in California, using traditional methods of reporting, when an earthquake would occur, it could sometimes take 2 to 3 days before you could even determine where the epicenter was, and sometimes weeks to determine just how strong the earthquake was. We can now get that up and on the web within 20 seconds of a time an earthquake occurs, and generally within half an hour you've got all the info you could ever want on it. The epicenter, the depth, the magnitude, all of that.
Right. So you're communicating among scientists, and you're communicating among sort of the web population. I was up on the site taking a look actually in the San Francisco area to see what earthquakes have happened, and it's amazing that you can put up that information so fast. Tell me a little bit about how an earthquake that happens an hour ago can actually get up on your site.
We have over 10,000 sensors located all over the place. The sensors are tied into a real-time reporting system made up of computers, cameras, seismographs. They put the whole thing together into a real-time database, and using software that was designed by people within the survey, they get that up into a graphic format that you can actually see. So they take the numbers and turn them into pictures. That you
and
can
it's very
appreciate.
graphical. And actually another area that was interesting to me was sort of along the same vein. Living in San Francisco, I could actually click on my neighborhood or my city and look at my neighborhood and see what's going to happen during an earthquake. Is it going to be a strong shake or less? Yeah,
the predictions, of course, are anybody's guess. These are our best guess, but they're still just guesses. All we can say is within a specific given area, here are the chances of floods, here are the chances of earthquakes or volcanoes.
Right, well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. One other just quick note on some of the other disasters that you folks are monitoring and tracking. What would those be?
Floods, especially within the Midwest. The last few years have seen some major disasters there that could have been a lot worse had it not been for the Water Resources Division's metering efforts. They have meters in virtually every single major body of water in the United States.
Okay, so you've got floods, volcanoes, earthquakes, and all on your site. If you want a really a good time in disasters, check it out.
If you really like disasters, it's a good place to go.
That's our look at the extreme web, really far out things you can do on the internet. Thanks for joining us again here at the Club I in San Francisco. Hope you'll visit with us again next week.
The Net Cafe is made possible in part by TechWeb for up-to-the-minute technology news, and by TVA, Television Associates, bridging the worlds of computers and video with DVD authoring and MPEG encoding services.
To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.
Next week at the Net Cafe, incredibly useful websites. This is when.com, an online calendar service that gives you a free personal organizer on the net. Alex Brandstatter runs Instant Delivery, a new web service that turns your computer printer into a daily newspaper printing press. You can find answers to almost any question at this website called learnto.com. Brewster Kahle is the co-founder of Alexa, a web browser plugin that provides very useful information about that weird website you found. And if you hate dealing with car salesmen, this is the website for you, Edmunds.com. Everything you ever wanted to know about buying a car. Incredibly useful websites. Next week at the Net Cafe.